Right now, we have these three components, right? One for the login, one for the registration, one for the course navigator. And we'd like to be able to navigate between these three, depending on perhaps clicking on a hyperlink or maybe clicking on the login or the register, right? We navigate to different portions of the application. So to do that, what we're going to do is that if you remember, it had asked us when we just created the application, when we did ng new, right? It asked us, do you want to include routing, right? And we said yes. And by saying yes, it created for us this additional TypeScript, right? It created this additional TypeScript, okay, for us, right? And what it allows us to do is to configure here in this array, all the routes, meaning this is what we configure to say, well, if you see the following in the URL, this is a component I want you to render. If you see this, then render that. Okay, very much like we did for React, right? We had links and we had routes. Remember that, right? And in the links, you created the hyperlinks, right? And in the route, you declared saying, if you see the following path, then this is the component I want you to render, right? That's what a route would do. So same thing here, but instead of spreading it out into perhaps one in a particular JavaScript and some other route in another JavaScript, here we have a single place where we can configure all our routes. Right, so it's a little bit easier and easier to maintain. Right, you have a single place of maintenance. All right, so what do we have here? So the configuration for this for the routes is that you declare what the path you want, right? And in this case, is for instance, might be login. If you see login, then you can configure what components you want to render when you see login. Right, so we're going to say if you see login, we want to render the login component. Okay, notice that it automatically imports it for us, right? And we can do the same thing for register. We can say if the path instead is register, then the component that we want to render is register. Okay, so sorry, register component. There it is. And if we see that we want to look at the courses, right? Maybe we can see the component, the course navigator, component. There we go. So we have those three routes. So let's see how we can use them. Once we have those routes configured, we can go back to where we want to put our URLs. For instance, here in the top level component, we could put a couple of hyperlinks in here. We can say, use the following hyperlink and creating the following router link /login, and we can put here login. Right, that creates a hyperlink, and maybe we could create a couple of these. Excuse me. And we can say here register. We have register here, register, and we have here courses. So these hyperlinks, right? They have to match the routes that you declare, right? These paths over here, right? And then this centralized mechanism configures what components should you see if the URL changes from login to register to courses. Make sense? Right? Where is that going to render? It's going to render wherever you have a router outlet. Right? A router outlet is going to render here the component, right? So we don't really want to render any of these. We don't want to render any of these until the URLs change from one to the other. Make sense? Right? So if I go back and take a look at what gets rendered, notice that nothing gets rendered. Right? We don't have any of the components because the URL is neither login nor register nor courses. But if I click on login, indeed I only see login. If I see register, I only see register or courses between the three. Right? So this allows me to implement the navigation between all my components. Make sense? All right. So let's take this a little further. For instance, if I am in the login, right, I would also be able to say, change my mind perhaps, and say that I want to instead I remember, oh, I don't have a login, right? And it says, oh, I need to create an account, right? So in the login page, for instance, right, in the login page, we might want to let's see, in the login component, we might also have a hyperlink down below saying that the router link is login. I'm sorry, register, and this might be sign up. Okay, or if I had navigated to the register component, I might decide, oh, wait a minute, I do have a login, right? Why am I trying to register, right? So I can navigate back to the login. And this might be sign in. So having said that, notice that now I have the sign up, that if I click on the sign up, it navigates to the, it doesn't navigate. Why are you not navigating? Did I not write it? Login, register, router link, register. Interesting. Register. Sign in. Why are you not navigating? Courses. Register. App components. Oh, yes, I forgot the slash. And register here, slash. Okay, so if I click on sign in, it still won't work. Refresh. Login. Okay, there we go. Okay, I need to refresh my page. All right, there we go. So we can navigate between these two and by creating these hyperlinks. Where is it going to be rendered? It's going to be rendered in the app in the outlet, right? That's wherever we use that outlet. You can have multiple outlets. You can say, hey, I want to render in this outlet or this other outlet. If there is no, then you would have to name or give the outlets a unique identifier, and then prefer to say, well, which outlet do you want to render to, right? By default, it's the closest to outlet that is available to the hyperlink. Okay.